fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the fish report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pull. When you tune in to the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. You got Craig and TK and Head that tune in at the fish report.
Coming to you live from Studio F in Russia, Ohio. It's the Fish Report Live Show with your hosts, Craig Fissinger and Ken Francis.
Tune in to the fish report.
Welcome, everyone, to the season finale of Fish Report Live. My name's Craig Fissinger. That is Ken Francis. We're your host. Back in the sound room. TK and Heavy D are back there, going to be joining us a little bit later in the program. And Ken, well, 4 seasons, 125 shows, our season finale tonight. Ever think we'd get this far, partner?
No, I didn't, Craig. And I tell you what, it's been a lot of fun. Hard to believe we got 4 years in the books. I remember the first show yet from the milk crate and the duct tape we had and everything else. So, but it's been great. We've picked up the sound room guys over the years, and we got big plans in the off season, and it's just been a super fun 4th season and 125 shows in the book. It's been a lot of fun, partner.
Yeah, we've actually had over 100 guests on this season, including an Ohio high school commissioner, had Mr. Basketball on earlier this season. Lots of great athletes, coaches, sports writers, and tonight we saved a couple of the best for last, didn't we?
Yes, we did, Craig. Really looking forward to a face that will be very familiar to a lot of sports fans throughout Shelby County and Mac Country, and that's Andy Lynch, the sports director from WOSN. Craig, really looking forward to talking to Andy. As well as, Craig, we're going to talk to one of the most renowned runners in the history of the Ohio State University, Craig, and we're fortunate that she's also a Russia alumni. She's a former state high school champion. She's an All-American several times over, and that's Miss Katie Borchers of the Ohio State track and field team as she competes down in Jacksonville this weekend in the NCAA regionals.
Yeah, I can't wait to get to both those interviews. A great way to end this season. But before we do that, just like we do every week, we have a weekly trivia question. You always try to ask me a question that pertains to tonight's guest, and tonight's no different.
No different tonight, Craig, and we're going to talk Andy Lynch. Everyone in the area, like I said, knows who Andy Lynch is, but the question is, prior to coming to Lima, Ohio in 2005, where was Andy Lynch a TV sports director at? Was he in Omaha, Nebraska, Fairbanks, Alaska, Ann Arbor, Michigan, or Morgantown, West Virginia?
All right, well, obviously it wasn't in Ohio. It was somewhere out of state then.
Yes, it was.
4 great answers. So I'm going to need a little help from the Fish Report viewers. So if you're watching us tonight on the Fish Report Live page, you can actually scroll down, answer the trivia question, and check the results. If you're watching us on NK Telco, Cable TV Channel 3, or if you're watching us on Game Face Ohio on TSC Cable Channel 702, we will have those results for you at the end of the show. All right, Ken, well, let's get things started. And as we close out our final Fish Report Live, they're actually closing out the high school sports season here shortly. Everyone's in regional tournaments right now. A lot of track and field athletes competing tonight and this weekend, getting ready. But still some local teams left in softball and baseball. And let's talk about those teams. And let's start out with softball. Let's go down to the D4 Tip City Regional. And what do we got down there, Ken?
D4 Regional, Craig, at Tip City played tonight. Game Newton actually moves on, Craig. They defeat Crestview by scores 7-6. So the regional finals there, Craig's going to have a little local flavor as they await the winner of the Covington Triad game, which will be played tomorrow night, and the finals then will be played on Saturday at noon.
All right, and let's move ahead and talk some baseball. The D3 Xenia Regional. We got one Division III team from the SCAL left there, don't we?
Yes, we do, Craig. It's a team that I've liked all year, Craig. I've seen them play 3 times. Very good baseball team, the Anna Rockets. They've got great pitching. They got a lot of size. They got a lot of good power. They got speed, and they play great defense. Great matchup there against Waynesville. The winner of that game, Craig, most likely going to be taking on Cincinnati Hills Christian Academy Of course, they've got to get by Summit first, but traditional power down there in Cincinnati. So good luck to the Anna Rockets.
All right, and the one we're most interested in, of course, is that Springfield, the D4 regional bracket down there. That's going to be a fun one, isn't it?
D4, Craig, Springfield bracket, just a loaded regional, fantastic records across the board. First game tomorrow afternoon, 2 o'clock, Fort Recovery taking on Lehman. Craig, and then the game, of course, we're interested in of the most, Country Day at 25-4, taking on our Russia Raiders at 23-6. Coach Flippo's got his team playing great baseball right now, Craig, and really looking for tomorrow's two contests. There are going to be two great baseball games. Winners there will compete on Friday, 5 o'clock, for a trip to Huntington Park.
All right, can't wait to get to all that. And you know what, Ken? We think we know a lot about sports on this show, but we can't compete with this next guy. He's a guy that we've looked up to ever since we started this show. And if you've been in any kind of gym or ball diamond in the Northwest or the Southwest in the last several years, you've seen this guy. You might also seen him on television around here on Time Warner channel number 997 or NK Telco channel 227, or if you have an HD antenna, he's on channel 44.2, but he's WOSN Sports Director Andy Lynch. Happy to have him live on the phone right now. Andy, welcome to Fish Report Live, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Great to be with you.
Well, listen, we're awfully excited to have you tonight. It's your first time on this show. We see you in the gym, Andy. We see you on the ball diamond. We see you on TV. We even see you on Twitter. I know a lot of the people around the area follow you on Twitter. And I noticed this past weekend you were actually over in Indianapolis for the race over there, the Indy 500. What's that all about? Do you go over there to cover that for WOSN, or is that just something you like to do?
We do end up covering some kind of faith aspect of the Christian TV station. You know, we can do the chapel service beforehand and get some kind of story out of it. The first year I went, I think, was either 06 or 07, and Sam Hornish Jr., who, of course, is a Northwest Ohio guy from Defiance, Napoleon, that type of area, he did pretty well in the race, and we interviewed him beforehand and got a faith story with him. But for the most part, we get something out of it. But my dad is a huge Indy 500 fan and just IndyCar fan in general. I remember growing up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and he'd have the race on Sundays, and I'd get into it a little, but I was never too interested in it. But as a Father's Day gift, when I started working for TV44, we were able, we actually had gotten press passes for years before I was there. Our station originator, the guy who started the station, Ron Mile, who just recently passed away, he and his son would go and get the press credentials and head over and make a day of it. And I don't know if they did stories or not, but we had press credentials on file at the Indy 500. So I said, I'll take my dad the first year. It'll be a fun experience. And we've enjoyed it so much that we just go back almost every year. My daughter was born in 2011 in April, so things were a little crazy still by Memorial Day, so we didn't go that year. But we've gone 8 years now, and we just make a weekend of it, and it's pretty special. A father-son time. I get a Father's Day gift out of it for him, and it's good.
Andy, hi. This is Ken Francis.
Hey, Ken.
Hi there. We've got a great team works for us back in the sound room as well, and I know you've got a great team works for you over there at WOSN. It's nothing to see you on a basketball game on Friday night, and by the time I get home and get comfortable in my chair, here I'm watching you back on television telling us all about the game. Tell us a little bit about the weekends during the basketball season, particularly when you hit about 6 or 8 gyms, and then you've got time to get back to the station to report it all.
Well, six or 8 for me personally that'll be a Saturday. Saturdays we get to be between 8 to 10 because they're spaced out enough. But on a traditional Friday basketball night, we'll get to 3 or 4 games apiece. Right now we have just 2 full-time guys. I'm technically part-time right now because I split my time with Fellowship of Christian Athletes and TV44, and so Mark Kuntz and Matt Finkel are our only technical full-time guys as far as on-air goes. And then we utilize a bunch of part-time guys. We have a kid named Austin Scott who went to Wapakoneta, and he goes to OSU Lima right now, and he probably works about 20 hours a week filming games. A guy named Zach Keith who went to Lincoln View, he's at OSU Lima as well, so he'll do some stuff Friday nights for us. We've got some other people within the station, Wayne Getz and Jennifer Beck, who will pitch in some Friday nights. Have had interns over the years, but it's the big part of it is in the scheduling because we can see, all right, Rusheets Versailles is obviously very close, but is it a triple header of Rushe that night with the freshmen and the JV, so they're not starting until 8:45 or 9 o'clock, which I know you've experienced. So that can't be a first stop because we're not going to make it back in time. Maybe if Versailles does tip at 8:10, then we can make it over to Russia in the first half still, pick up Fort Laramie or Minster on the way back, hopefully it'll be the second half, and get back to the station. The editing obviously is the hardest part because we've got that deadline pressure. It's probably not that bad to get to the games. It's getting back, editing, writing the stuff, making sure the names are accurate. And then normally either I or Mark or Matt, whoever's anchoring that night, is reading the script for the very first time live on the air.
Oh, wow.
So,
Wow.
You know, sometimes it's a matter of in the break, okay, we need Rushi. Where is it? And they say, you're going to get it right on time. And sure enough, the video is sent over. They slide the script across the desk. I pick it up, and I just trust my guys, you know, that they have the names right. Obviously, we can read the script, look up at the screen, and see if it's kind of matching. But if it's early in the season and we're still starting to, you know, learn who the guys are, and we don't have a roster with us, we're just trusting what they wrote. You know, they match the name to the roster, that it's right. And so early in the season, it's dicey. Once it's near the end, you know, we're watching a little more. We have more familiarity with the guys who are in the highlights, and if there is something wrong, we can kind of correct it on the fly. But it's pretty intense. It's gotten a little better because of the earlier start times throughout the area, especially football. This upcoming season, I think only the MAC has a 7:30 start, and then in basketball, only the MAC in Shelby County has a 6:30 JV. So that has helped tremendously because we have guys getting back a little earlier, including myself, so we have a little more time, and there's not as much of that time crunch that we had back in the day when all the JVs were at 6:30 or even later, you know, if there's a triple header going on.
Well, you do a great job of it. I tell you what, we struggle just to get back from Little League baseball games on Wednesday night to get back for the show. So for you to cover 8 games and go cold on air like that, reading the scripts for the first time is pretty remarkable. But hey, I want to take a minute, Andy, and look back over this past. You know, we've got our season finale tonight. I think you guys kind of wrap things up at the end of the school year as well. If you look back over this past 2014-2015 season, is there a moment or two that stand out for you as maybe a highlight to the school year?
I was thinking that. I read the questions in the email, and the only state championship that I was actually at, you know, a lot of times we point towards those, was Fort Laramie volleyball when they won state against Macomb. That was the only one that I've been in attendance for all season long, and that was pretty cool because, you know, they got over the hump. They'd always been overshadowed by the Marion locals of the world and all those different MAC schools or even Jackson Center. And for them to get over the hump and really feel, you know, you could feel the joy and feel it was really pure. There was something pure about that. So that was special. I was in the press conference afterwards and able to just really feel that emotion for Fort Laramie. So that's certainly one. And another one I want to highlight is off the field. Every month in New Bremen, we have a MAC coaches study put on by fellow Christian athletes. There's some great material. A guy named Jeff Duke, who used to coach with Bobby Bowden at Florida State, has come up with this curriculum. He actually does a coaching major at Central Florida University. You can major in coaching. How about that? That'd be a pretty cool college major.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so a bunch of MAC coaches just get together, and I get together with them 6 o'clock in the morning, the second Wednesday every month. We meet at a church, and we just go through some of this curriculum and talk about some of the struggles. You're talking about, you know, some of the big names in the MAC. They come together, they drop the rivalries, and just are able to share with one another. And it's been remarkable to see these guys that know so much, have won so many games, are really, you know, pinnacles in our communities, and yet they realize that they still have more to learn, and they can learn from each other and encourage each other. So that's been a huge highlight for me throughout the winter, even though I get up at about 4 o'clock to go from Lima down to New Bremen and get the donuts for the guys.
Well, Andy, that's great stuff, and you know I know you're a guy that is very big into your faith, which is just fantastic to hear from your end, and the way you can communicate with faith and the sports and things. It's just very special. So listen, you got a lot of fans out there, especially us guys in Russia. Don't forget about the Raiders coming over to Claire C. Naveau Gymnasium a few times next year. Give us a little airtime coverage there, Andy, and we really appreciate you taking time to be on our show with us tonight.
Awesome. Well, you guys do a great job, and we appreciate you guys updating us because there's not a lot of Shelby County Twitter or email. We rely on you guys for our scores in Shelby County, so we appreciate you and all you do as well.
All right. Well, listen, good luck to you. Enjoy your off season as well, and thanks for being on the show.
You bet. Anytime, guys.
Thanks, Andy. All right, that was WOSN Sports Director Andy Lynch. Glad to finally have him on the show. He was a great guy to talk to. Talked to him in person many times, and good guy to interview on the show.
Absolutely.
All right, well, that's going to do it for the first half of our show. We're going to take a short break, but stay right there because when we come back, we're going to be talking to arguably the greatest female runner in the history of Ohio State University. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the second half of Fish Report Live, everyone. Before the break, we were talking some. What is that? What is that? I think that reminds me of some shows we used to do in the old days.
I think so.
Hey, listen, before the break, we were talking with WOSN Sports Director Andy Lynch, Ken, and now we're going to talk a little track, and specifically a little college track. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If Jesse Owens was the greatest runner in the history of Ohio State, our next guest is the greatest female runner in the history of Ohio State.
You know, Craig, I don't doubt that one bit. And, it's just an honor to know this girl personally. It's an honor to be a teammate of hers, at least have my daughters be a teammate of hers. It's an honor to cheer her on back in her high school days and even on her days on Ohio State. And Craig's just it's a great pleasure of ours. We welcome Russia alumni Katie Borchers to Fish Report Live. Katie, welcome to the show.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Katie, listen, we know you're down in Jacksonville, Florida right now, getting ready to run in the NCAA Regional Championships on Thursday. So fill us in a little bit here. What's your schedule like? When are you running? What do you have to do to advance? What's going on with this?
Okay, yeah. So tomorrow night I run at 8:10, and there will be 6 heats of the 800. The top 3 in each heat move on to the next round, as well as the next 6 fastest times. So they'll narrow it down from 48 individuals to 24 individuals. And then if I'm one of those, then I will run on Friday night. I'm actually not sure what time. But there will be 3 heats. So then they'll take the top 3 in each heat and then the next 3 fastest times. So that'll be 12 individuals, and those individuals will go to Eugene, Oregon in 2 weeks.
Okay, well, I understand that. What I don't understand is why do you run at 8:10 at night? Is that a normal time for college athletes to run, or is that just for these regionals?
It's typically normal to be later on in the evening, especially now being in Florida. It's too hot to run. During the afternoon, and you have events like the 10K where it's 25 laps around the track, and you just can't do that in the heat of the day. So.
Okay, well, I understand that, certainly. That does make sense. Last year, Katie, you were fortunate enough to advance past these regionals and make it to the national championships in Eugene. And I know the season isn't done yet, but if you had to summarize this year, your senior year, compared to years past, both from an individual standpoint and a team standpoint, how would you grade things?
I think that I'll start individually. I think that I've gotten a lot stronger. Both in my endurance running from cross country, that translated to track very well for me this year. And I also got stronger strength-wise, and I've also been more confident in the ability that I can do things. And then team-wise, this year was kind of new for us. We combined the men and women programs, so we didn't really know what to expect coming in, but it's been an amazing experience. We pull a lot of energy from each other and support each other so much, and we become really close. And I'm just honored to be part of it. It's something special. So,
Katie, hi, this is Ken. Let's go back. Rushi senior year, 2011. You're an 800-meter state champion. You've went on from there to be a 3-time Big Ten champion. What's it take for somebody coming from small-town Ohio, little Rushi, to accomplish the things you've done at the Ohio State University?
That's a tough question. But I think personally what I would say is you have to have a love for the sport that you're doing. And the next step would be to have a dream or a goal that you really want to achieve. Your willingness to work hard at it. And then I think a big thing is the support from others that you get. I've been fortunate enough to have not only the support from the Rushi community, but the surrounding communities as well. And also my teammates and the coaching staff here at Ohio State has been phenomenal, and I couldn't ask for anything more. So.
Katie, not only have you succeeded as an athlete on Ohio State, you've been also very successful in the classroom as well. Actually, you've graduated already. Obviously, you're down in Jacksonville, Florida now, training or preparing for the NCAA regionals. What does Katie do after the NCAA championships are over, and what are your plans?
Yeah, so after I'm done running for Ohio State, I will come home for the summer, back to Rushi, Ohio, and relax and enjoy the summer. And then in the fall, I will be attending the University of Dayton to get my Doctor of Physical Therapy degree. So
well,
that's the next step for me.
That's a great choice right there, too. And you'll be joining little sister over there at the University of Dayton, too, right?
Yes, yes. I'm excited. I hope she is, too.
Well, good. Any thoughts about coaching, say, after you graduate, or, maybe running professionally or, taking what you know about running to and sharing that with others at the high school level?
I've had that thought cross my mind quite a few times lately. But right now I don't have anything official planned or anything like that. I'm just going to kind of try to get through the end of the season, and then, once things calm down a little bit from running and I take a little break, then I'll kind of reassess and see what I want to do from there.
All right, Katie, listen, one more question and we'll let you go. But I recently read a really neat blog post from one of your teammates at Ohio State, and that's Janelle Oberding from Fort Laramie. And she was blogging about how thankful she was for everything that Ohio State athletics has given her over the years. And I wanted to ask you, in this age where we hear a lot of talk about perhaps how NCAA athletes should be paid for the revenue and the recognition they create for the university, How do you feel? I mean, are you happy with everything Ohio State gave you?
Yeah, I'm extremely happy. I agree with, everything that Janelle had in her blog post, and I guess I'll just kind of touch on some things. Being a student athlete at Ohio State, you get, free clothing, some free clothing, free shoes, just stuff that you would need to run, to perform. And some people have the honor of, getting a free education as well, like as part of their scholarship. And we get to travel all over the U.S. We get to travel, to California and Oregon and Florida and many other places that all of that is just an experience of a lifetime. And I'm just happy that I can be a part of it, and that I just love what I do because I get to represent the school that I love, and I get to run for my teammates that I would do anything for. And for me personally, that's enough, and I don't need to be paid on top of that. I think that all those things are give you the best experience that you can have. So
that's a great answer, Katie. Listen, from Fish Report Live, all the people in Russia, and I'm sure throughout the surrounding area, best of luck to you tomorrow night. You've had a great career. We're all very proud of you, and it's just been it's a lot of fun watching what you've done and accomplished over there on Ohio State, and congratulations.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
All right, Katie, thanks, and good luck tomorrow night.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me.
Yep.
All right, that was OSU running star Katie Borchers. And Ken, like you said, it's certainly been an honor following her throughout high school and college and seeing everything that she's been able to accomplish.
Craig, I was most impressed there with the answer she gave to your very last question. I just thought she really hit the nail on the head there, explaining everything that she has been given. And, when she look at it from her standpoint and what she says, you don't need to pay me. She's gotten a lot of joy for her time over there.
Yeah, so. I loved her answer. I wouldn't have expected nothing less from her. So, well, listen, Ken, before we close things out tonight, let's go back to the sound room and check in with those guys back there. Guys, we're wrapping it up here, 125 episodes. And over, like I said, 100 guests this year. Looking back on the year, any particular guest or anything any highlights from the season for you guys?
I'll tell you what, I can draw a lot of comparisons to what Katie said about having a full ride at Ohio State. I get to work with TK every Wednesday night. We get free shirts, free cashews, free spritzers, and dare to dream someday we may be able to cat around Shelby County in the Fish Report mobile.
We'll get
That's what we want right
there.
Fish
Report logo on the side of that thing, and we'll be set.
Yeah, but I've had a great time again, year number 4, and look forward to next year.
TK, how about you? Any highlights from the season for you?
I hate to get serious after that, but I really enjoyed last fall and the track, that's right now, in the cross country, probably because it was a little personal with my daughter running, but another trip to the state for the boys and girls, that was a lot of fun to cover, a lot of fun to be part of. Hopefully in the next week here, we'll have even more fun with the boys and some baseball. But to date, I really liked last fall's cross country.
All right. Well, good stuff there. And I'm going to go with what Ken said earlier. If we weren't having this much fun, we wouldn't be doing it. It'd be awfully boring to sit in here by ourselves, wouldn't it?
That's right.
So listen, Ken, one more thing to get to tonight, and that is the trivia question to wrap up our season. Why don't you ask me the question again? We'll have the guys in the sound room check on our Fish Report telemetrics.
Well, Craig, we spoke to Andy Lynch earlier, and him prior coming to Lima in 2005, where was he a TV sports director at? Was he in Omaha, Nebraska, Fairbanks, Alaska, Ann Arbor, Michigan, or Morgantown, West Virginia?
Well, some of those are pretty cold states, so I'm going to have to I'm not sure here. So let's go back to the sound room and check in with the guys. Guys, any help from the Fish Report viewers out there?
Boy, it's an absolute dead heat. The server back here is literally smoking. So it's a coin flip. It's a 4-sided coin flip.
A 4-sided coin flip.
Yep.
Gee whiz. All right. Well, I'm going to go with, like I said, one of those cold weather states, and Ann Arbor, Michigan. That's my guess. It's not too far away, but it's far enough, I guess. Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Well, Craig, you chose the one closest to Ohio. You actually should have chose the one furthest from Ohio and went with Fairbanks, Alaska. Believe it or not, Andy Lynch came to Lima, Ohio from Fairbanks, Alaska.
What kind of sports are there to report on in Fairbanks, Alaska?
I think he was in charge of the Iditarod.
The Iditarod.
I think that's how you pronounce that.
I'm not sure what that is. Maybe that'll be a feature next season on Fish Report
Could
Live.
be.
All right, listen, that's going to do it for us, folks. Want to thank our guests tonight, Andy Lynch and Katie Borchers, for joining us. Also want to thank all you viewers out there for tuning in every week. Ken and I and the crew, we're all planning on being back again next fall, the same place. So until then, have a great summer, everyone, and good night.
Hanging at the fish report. 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 For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the fish report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pull when you tune in to the fish report. Hanging at the fish report.